And welcome back to the SMITE Challenger Circuit, still over here in the North American region here on our second day and our final day here of the SMITE Challenger Circuit for phase number 1. My name is J-Mac. I got Charlie joining me over here. We're going to be talking about our second matchup coming up here. That's going to be the Eldritch Hounds versus the Yomi Tanuki. Very important set here for the Tanuki. They need to find themselves a win if they want to try and keep their top 4 seeding alive. Otherwise, we could be potentially going to this very, very awkward triangle of a tie, depending on how the next set thing goes after that. It's a whole little hodgepodge going on here, Charlie.
Yeah, J-Mac explained it to me as a circle that's also a triangle that has 3 teams that are trying to get in here. So to keep it simple, the Tanuki need to find a win here. Seems pretty easy enough, right?
Well, you say it seems easy enough, but they're going against the Eldritch Hounds.
Well, I didn't say that it was easy to get the win. It's easy,
right.
easy to understand what they need to do to make sure they can keep their top 4 alive.
Right, easy in concept, maybe not so much in execution here. Well, yes, we will take a look at the schedule and the standings to kind of give you guys an idea of kind of how we'll be breaking these ones down between there. First, we'll look at the schedule where the Sages found their win earlier on. So unfortunately for the Weavers, they're not able to find a set win so far this phase. The Sages now with their second one. This is where it's going to make this kind of awkward tie going on to here. The Sages are 2-2. The Tanuki are going to be 2-2 right now going into this, or sorry, 2-3 for the Sages. The Tanuki are 2-2 going in here. And then we do also have the Wardens sitting in at 2-2 as well. So we've got this very awkward moment right here where if the Tanuki lose, they're head-to-head against the Sages, could potentially push the Sages up, but the Wardens have also beat the Tanuki, so and then they've also, or no, they beat the Sages, lost the Tanuki. There's a whole weird triangle and circle going around. So needless to say, as Charlie simplified it, Tanuki find a win, they're good to go. They don't have to worry about anything here. Them, and I believe also the Wardens will then have secured their spot with their win earlier on to the season here. So, very important set for the Tanuki to win. Athenian Sages, it's never fun when you have to be the team to hope that for the downfall of others in order to make it.
Yeah, especially when your win condition is taking down the 4-0 Eldritch Hounds, who have not found a loss yet. I mean, they've been looking so solid as a group together. So a tall hill to climb, but certainly not impossible. There has been some games that have taken off them. They just haven't lost the full set yet.
Yeah. Eldritch Hounds, our first team to kind of talk about here. The undefeated squad here in the number 1 seed in North America. They've guaranteed their spot at Masters. They don't got to worry about anything out here. And that's Remakami, Oath, Erupt, Crimson, Quig, and Renjaru. A very powerful squad over here in the NASCC. Especially through Oath and Crimson in that jungle. I mean, going into, what was it? Going into, like, week number 3, Crimson had not died a single time or something like that. And then I think he ended up putting, like 3 or 4 deaths to his name during his set here. So impressive to say when your mid laner can go into games like these and go into full sets and go weeks, literal weeks without dying.
Yeah, once you put it into perspective like that, it really shows. I mean, because mid is usually your target more often than not. You're finding lots of deaths on these mid laners, but whenever you're able to position so well, make these rotations, Crimson has been having a phenomenal 2-3 weeks or so in the SEC currently. That's why this squad's 4-0. They all look so solid together as a unit, and it's just been playing off of Oath, as you mentioned, this jungle that has been getting very active in the early game, making sure to get the solo laner ahead. Remakami has been looking great as well, and they bounce off each other just so well.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the slash line on our scc.smiteproleague.com website, there you go. If you ever want to check in on the stats, the players, the standings, anything like that, you can go to that website and check it out yourself. But it shows here for Crimson, here you guys, 35 kills so far this season. That's pretty good. 4 deaths going in through 4 weeks of play. Dying on average 1 time a week here, and then 70 assists as well. I mean, this whole team.
You're telling me they're 4-0 and he has 4 deaths.
Correct.
That's wild.
That's wild.
Like that, the positioning alone. I mean, sure, okay. Well, you say this a lot, right? Where you give credit to the tanks for creating space for the carry so they can have these great stat lines, but also you just got to be positioning so well to have 4 deaths. I mean, you could have phenomenal tanks and still die like 8 times. So Crimson, he's playing out of his mind this phase, I would say.
Yeah, the entirety of the Hounds really kind of coming together here so far in phase 1 of the SCC. They are going up against the Yomi Tanuki though, and there is another slight roster adjustment over towards this one. It's going to be Elion stepping into the support role for this team. So a new look for Elion. We've known him as a jungler. We've known him as a mid. Now we get to see how he can try his hand here as support. And then behind him is going to be Snatty, Satadragon, Tripno, and Hydrogen with him over in that duo lane here. Going to be Elion replacing former support player on this one, at least Monster Bomber going into here. And Satadragon specifically, talking about this jungle matchup between him and Oath. Satadragon came into phase number 1 with this kind of new start strat that we've been seeing a lot between the SCC and the SPL, where they do this 2-1-2. It's something that Satadragon like to talk about. He was kind of one of the early pioneers of this start here, and he's been able to make it work out for his team fairly well.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting here because obviously Monster Bomber was a commanding presence on this team, but more so the support that sits back, likes to peel, plays, things like the Gab, things like, this time around it's just going to be an interesting dynamic because Leon is a dynamic shot caller for most of these squads, whether it's in the jungle, whether it's in mid, or we have seen him play support a few times as well. This is a completely different flip of the script, I would imagine, for this squad. You've seen what Snatty's able to do in the solo lane, getting constantly ahead, massive leads. I believe this game specifically, there was like a 5-level lead in the solo lane where it was just like one gank turns into that. So you already know the solo lane presence is going to be huge. The jungle presence, when it can get online, Sad Dragon usually plays these hard carry characters like Kali's, like Fenrir's, and get online. But now, that's going to add a completely different dynamic to the duo lane of this roster.
Yeah, I'm expecting a very aggressive game across the board for these two teams. We'll see how that lines out, though. Picks and bans for game number 1 between the Hounds and the Tanuki are ready to go here. And we've been seeing a slight change-up as far as the first picks are going. Sure, if, like, Kleena's still available. Kleena's obviously getting picked up. Things like RDO are kind of still in the nature. But now with this 9.4 patch, we've been seeing change-ups like Chernobog, Jingwei have kind of been some of these first-pick gods, even so much that Jingwei was a first-pick last game.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they prioritize that dual lane because the Tanuki specifically, they don't care too much about those picks. It's usually the Soul for Hydrogen. We've seen a lot of Soul from Hydrogen, not so much these other picks, a few Medusas here and there. But now that the meta has switched, we'll have to see what they opt to do in that duo lane and the mid lane respectively, because if you go for some Hunters in the mid lane right now, you don't see Jingwei and Chernobog in the mid lane. That's not really the meta. It's more so the Chirons or, things of that nature, the AMCs like that. So we'll have to see how they do opt to go for that. But the Hounds do get the cleanup because that is open right now. The Tanuki had to know that was coming. I hope they have an answer back for it.
Yeah, even with the nerfs that have come towards this god and maybe a couple of the items in her kit, she's still a very potent god. And a multi-role god still at that. Solo, jungle, whichever one you want to throw out there. But Kabrakan, Nemesis, and Kali, the bands over here on the side of the Hounds. And then you have the Dodgy, Artio, and the Yamoja for the Yomi Tanuki. But with that Kleena, leaves open Charybdis here, who has recently come back available to play for a lot of these teams out here. So we are finally seeing her make her rise back in. But we've been seeing some very strange builds coming out of this god. Sure, there's the standard Hunter role, but we look over like Baronic in the SPL, and he's running things like Brawler's Beat Stick into Toxic Blade, like all these weird kind of things coming out with this guy.
Yeah, if you are going to refer to the build, I guess we could also mention the fact that it did lose. So it's not like it wasn't working. I'm just saying it's not like these builds are finding crazy success, but you're right to mention that the itemization for Charybdis can change up because she's so safe. She just has so much safety in the lane, whether you put her in the mid lane or in that dual lane. The answer back immediately, though, will be the Jingwei, even if you are against it, which we see the Tiamat, so pretty much know right now that you're not against that Charybdis. That will be an ADC Charybdis, so you have that Jingwei Charybdis matchup. Both very safe picks, but also have that 1v1 potential if they want to go, and the builds vastly differ as well. Atlas, though, is going to be the option for the Hounds. So much lockdown on this pick early game in that duo lane, as well as just control in the team fights. That seems to be the name of the game right now for the Hounds draft, at least this early on. 3 picks down.
Yeah, that CC, that second ability on the Atlas, that pseudo Ragnarok kind of pull. You pick up an enemy and you throw him back towards your teammate onto that one. It's just seen a lot of potency. We've seen a lot of the answer to that god has been you pick up Jingwei on the opposite side, like, oh, you picked me up. Don't worry, I can just dash myself away. That's not going to be the case as they're paired up here. With that Tiamat and the Bellona locked in, Yomi Tanuki had their top 3. They banned away the Morgan Bacchus and then Isep Bakasura, question mark, I'll just say that one on the other side. That opens up Sylvanas, and we don't see a whole lot of Sylvanas, do we, Trelly?
Not unless it's Elion playing it. Last time we saw the Sylvanas, last we saw Elion on the Sylvanas, it was a Sylvanas mid, though. This time around, not going to be the option. It will be that Sylvanas in the support role. He loves the pulls. He gets very vocal about going for these pulls. He calls it before he even goes for it. I got a pull. That's how confident he is on this pick. And if you're going to pick a Sylvanas, you have to be hitting those pulls. If you're not hitting those pulls, you're essentially not even using the character to his full. But the healing also going to be very annoying. Set is going to be that final lock-in. Sad Dragon loves these hard carry assassins. Things like Set that can get online late game and just completely change the nature of a team fight. But looking at this draft, it's going to be very difficult to deal with. Number 1, Snatty, the Bellona, shuts down a fair bit of Jingwei's damage, pretty much just auto attack. So that's going to be a hard one to try and match up into in the later stages of the game.
Yeah, because they lose Susano, that last pick there on the side of the Eldritch Hounds. Their solo and their jungle locked in here. Wait, hold on a second. One of these is going to be mid here between these assassins. Which one is it going to be with the Eldritch Hounds? Let's jump into game number 1 between the Hounds and the Tanuki to see, is it going to be the Kleena? Is it going to be the Susano? if SPL has any say on it, it's probably going to be the Susano mid. But it's not SPL, it's SCC. Crimson piloting the assassin mid. Kleena going to be going to another role here, Trelly, in this first game.
Yeah, I mean, Kleena's got some crazy clear at about level 5. That's really going to make it a lot easier. And Oath has such a solid Susano. I really did assume that if this was the way things were going to shake up, I mean, I didn't assume that it was a Kleena mid right off the bat, but once we saw that Susano luck, and Oath just loves this pick, finds lots of success on it early, as well as late game. You can pretty much just one-shot everyone if you're doing those auto attack cancels correctly. So I think this draft is shape out a pretty nice way here. Just really depends on how much magical damage you're going to have. And when I see Atlas, you can shred a lot of those protections. And when I see Cthulhu, I think, yeah, they probably have a fair bit of magical damage as well. So probably won't be the biggest issue right now, at least for early game, for what the Hounds are trying to go for here. Looking on the other side, though, pretty run-of-the-mill builds from everyone except for Tripno going for the health item start. Could be a Warlock Sash, could be a few different options, an E-Staff maybe, just to try to get some HP online. And we'll have to see what Tiamat tries to go into with that item there.
Now, I will say, when I was, jumping on PTS, testing out the new god that came out with the same patch, I was seeing a lot of Warlock Staffs, like, being kind of rushed out here by a lot of players. So maybe we will see that one here. Though there are still a few options you could go into that tree there if you want to go for an early E-Staff maybe, or early gem probably doesn't sound too great. So maybe it is going to be that Warlock Staff rush there out of Tripno. We'll keep our eyes here on this mid lane. Just like I'll keep my eyes in the duo lane. Leon just a little bit off the mark on that pull. But that's that confidence in there. Just throw out those pulls, no setup. Just try and get that hit as easy and as often as you can.
Yeah, I mean, when you do out-clear that hard, it is nice to try and go for that. But looking at where our Crimson is right now, remember, that's not the jungle. That's the mid laner right now. Is inching his way over, but decides to go back to lane. You will lose a fair bit of farm. Leon taking a fair bit of poke as well in this lane. Charybdis does have those auto attacks that can sort of just go through the wave, and you don't have to use all of your poke on the wave because of those auto attacks, but it also means you don't want to step up too far. Remember, Quig does have Horrific Emblem. Right now, Leon has Blink, so if you do get caught out, if you do get picked up by this Atlas, that could result in a kill this early in the game.
You see a lot of aggression in that duo lane. We saw how much poke Leon can take from one small, I can't even really call it a combo there, just because it's like, when I think of a combo in Smite, I think of like you pick somebody up, you throw them into another kind of CC, and then that sets up for like some big, massive ultimate that comes through. That one was literally just quick through him, and then he ran at him for a little bit, and then Dude Man Pro just threw some extra damage there, because why not? But, yeah, you can see how potent it is even early on.
Yeah, you just have a lot of follow-up with Atlas right now, even with just the knock-up, even though it's not going to be the combo just yet. Once it does come through and the crits are flying out, it's going to be so annoying to deal with. And again, Leon does not have beats. It is a blink as Hydrogen will get picked up, and now the fight will ensue, but not too much damage to either of them right now. Remember, the sustain is definitely on the side of the Tanuki with the Wisp from Sylvanas, so the healing up is going to be your option here, as well as the fact that, tier 1 Dev Gauntlet is going to give a little bit sustain in that lane as well, so probably just a little bit of a slap fight over here in the duo lane, at least early on.
I don't know why I saw that interaction and thought it looked real funny there. I mean, Quig picks up the enemy the enemy carry there, so Quig picks up Hydrogen, and then Leon grabbed Dude Man at the same time, so supports just grabbed the opposite's carry and just like said, okay, the fight is over, everybody go back to the farm here. But that clear is so heavily in favor of Leon and Hydrogen right now in that duo lane. They've been able to out-clear the Hounds duo for the majority of this one. But as this early game is going through here, yes, Tanuki have a lot of pressure as far as that left side of the map is concerned. But for the Tanuki, I mean, you're going up against a Kleena Susano 2v2 with Sadragon and Tripno. Does that give some advantage now over to the Hounds for that mid 2v2?
Yeah, I would say at least because of the way Tripno's building right now, your early game is not going to be the best. The Conduit Gem is going to help your burst damage a little bit, but the Warlock Sash start, just make sure that your Power Spike comes online a lot later. Hydrogen, though, getting chunked down. One more auto will do it. And Sadragon is here to help out. Nope, Oath is going to be able to clean that one up.
That's first blood over to the side of the Hounds, and there's a little bit of that combo that I was talking a little bit about earlier on. You pull them, you throw them right into the knockup, and that's a lot of CC that, as it goes through, is undearmable, and you just can't deal with that kind of pressure right now here into the duo lane. So the Hounds, even despite having the lesser of the clear strength, are able to pull themselves out first blood in game 1.
Yeah, looking over at that duo lane, that's exactly who you want your kill to go on. Oath was getting the last hit, and now the Susano can use that first blood bounty all over the map right now, able to finish the whole Jotun's Wrath. Look over at Sadragon, doesn't quite have that amount of gold because that kill didn't go the way of the Tanuki. So now you have a Susana with a lead and can really try to force that lead onto anyone at the moment on this map. The duo lane is going to have pretty good pressure, at least for a little bit. We will see Descend to Madness. Natty has the ultimate if he wants to use it, but is just going to eat the full brunt of this poke. But look at this, Sada Dragon making the rotation over as well.
We do see the rotation from the jungler, but with both these solo laners down about half HP or less, Snatty does have ult, so there is some re-engage potential there. But now with Oath having that ultimate online, maybe a call that Sada Dragon doesn't want to go for. No CC immunity to his kit, and only the Eagles rally as far as Snatty is concerned there. So that Typhoon maybe could have caused a little bit of extra problems there. We do see Tripno continuing down that staff tree to try and get that first item online. But is it Tiamat the God that you would typically go towards with seeing an item like this? I mean, is Warlock Staff one of those times you go, yeah, Tiamat, yeah, that makes sense to me?
Well, for me, Tiamat is one of those mages that comes online a lot later, and your early game's not the best. So it seems like Tripno is just saying, hey, I'm not going to fight anyways. I might as well get a little bit of extra HP, some damage, some percentage penetration online so that we can fight later when I actually want to. This build, to me, says Tripno does not want to fight and just wants to sit in lane. But you're against a Kalina. Erupt Crimson can pretty much force Tripno to say, hey, you either have to step up here and clear that wave, or I'm going to take away your farm because I'm so mobile on this pick. The early game assassin start, you're facing two assassins essentially, so Tripno is trying to survive, whereas Crimson is trying to get that pressure online ASAP.
Yeah, we do see the Warlock Staff picked up. Transcendence on the opposite side there for the assassin mid out of the Hounds. Both Gauntlet of Thieves and Devourer's Gauntlet. So, 6 stacking items. It's been a while since we've seen multiple stack items, let alone anything really beyond Gauntlet of Thieves. I mean, Thieves was kind of the only one that was still consistently being built. You maybe throw things like Soul Eater here. Crimson loses out on the beads off the root by Elion. A knockup is good, and all the damage from the skewer that comes out of Sada Dragon. Pull in by Elion. Quig has nowhere to go. It's an Eagles rally from Snatty. But will that connect charge get him enough distance to go through? He does have enough HP. Oath comes into the midst and has to get himself right back out. But Sada Dragon is going to go right back in, and he'll find the kill up against Quig.
Yeah, Oath almost got chased down as well. 4-man grouping in the mid lane right now. The Tanuki will probably be able to take down this tier 1 tower very early on. I mean, they have 4 here. They might as well. But look over at the right side. Remakami did not make that rotation. Just decided to push some waves under the tower. So that will put Snatty a little bit behind. But you picked up 2 assists and got your team ahead. So I would say that comes out pretty worth it for the Tanuki. The gold lead not quite in their favor now. I think it's a little bit down at the moment, about 500 gold. But besides that, you answer back 2 kills and you get a little bit going for you at this point. The Tanuki coming out strong with that answer back.
Yeah, it's a good way to get themselves back in the game here. As you said, even though they don't have the gold back to their name, they're at least able to mitigate a little bit of that early pressure that the Hounds put out, that first blood, plus just the efficient farming. I mean, they were up about 1,200 gold or more with just First Blood Bounty. You not even hit half of that one there, so just superior farm play here for the Hounds across the board. But 7 minutes in, still with this small of a lead out here, nothing really to write home about just yet. We will see Oath make his way, Dude Man Bro go back to basic. And I was curious as to where we would see these Hunter builds go beyond here. We've been seeing a mix of like the attack speed pen style and the crit. But Dude Man Bro will go into that Shuriken tree to get some early crit online.
It looks like Erupt Crimson is going for another stacking item, so we might see 4 or 5. Leon, though, huge blink on the engage will begin.
But it's a double pull in by Oath, a double pickup by Quig, and he'll throw them right into the massive combo by the double assassins. And it's not often that an Atlas gets to feast off a pickup like that. He finds both Sada Dragon and Elion with that grab. And then what a follow-up combo by the Hounds to pick up 2.
He picked up 2, and they picked up 2 because he picked them up. I was a big brain when I had to really reach for that. But yeah, Quig finds a massive pickup there. What?
Are you Athena now? You gotta reach?
No, not reach. Whatever. The point is, Alice, you're right to highlight the fact that it's not easy to find that lockdown. The targeter for that ability is not that big. Fighting one pull, hard enough as it is. You want to make sure your movement is there. And that all started from Elion thinking, well, there was a massive blink on. I mean, he picked up 3, I believe, with the knockup, but a good answer back, making sure that the Hounds now have a solid, almost 2K gold lead after that. So getting a little bit too aggressive. Erupt Crimson, though, still does not have that item online. I was going to say, does the Soul Eater begin stacking? Still has not went back to finish that item there. We assume it's going to be the Soul Eater, but I guess technically could just go into a Blood Forge if you have the gold. Some people do like to do that, but I think Soul Eater just works so well with Clean's kit. You get to pretty much full heal off of your ultimates, and you get 2 of those. So it's going to be a great sustain tool, at least later on in the game. So we will have to see if that is what the option will be. And afterwards, we can see how many items are being stacked at once in this game with the Warlocks, the Thieves, the Devos. Dude Man Bros Devos is done, but that's Jing Wei. You just get to fly back to the wave. You don't miss too much in that regard.
Yeah, not a lot there for Dude Man Bro to miss out on here. We do see a little bit of a difference in the Hunter builds. Maybe to no surprise, though. Hydrogen is going over in towards this Balance Blade tree, so likely a kin size to come online very early. But when you're going up against things like a Cthulhu, maybe not surprising at all that they would go that route there. But it does open up that question now. Typically, you know, your Hunter 1v1s, as long as you're going same build, it kind of just comes down to who gets slightly better RNG with their crits. You know, did I get the crit before him? Yes, I probably win that team fight now. Now it kind of makes it to where Hydrogen probably never wants to have to box up against Dude Man Bro.
Yeah, and especially with some levels into Explosive Bolt, it's not even going to be RNG. You get to just give yourself real crit. I mean, it's still RNG, but you get to give yourself that buffed crit number as well. So that will help out a ton in that boxing match. But Dude Man Bro has a solid lead, level 12 already, so we'll get a second relic whenever they decide to go back to the base. Whereas Hydrogen cannot really match that pressure right now. But still, Charybdis, very safe in her own right as a pick. You just pretty much don't even want to sit up there and box against Jing Wei until the later stages of the game. Anytime you are, just not going to end up working out for you. But look at Snatty already finishing this Frostbound Hammer. Going to be super annoying for Remakami to try and step up and trade any sort of damage. You just want to auto attack and go, but look at this. They're going for the pull onto the... There's no one here.
Now, there's no one, and with that objective shred that comes from Atlas, they're able to easily drop that Gold Fury down. It'll be traded out with a Pyromancer on the opposite side of the map here by the Tanuki. So, one objective for one, and with Gold Fury this early in the game, not worth an immense amount compared to if we were to take this, you know, another 5 or 10 minutes later. So, gold fairly evened out between the objective trade there. Eldritch Hounds, though, do still have about a 1,700 or so gold lead here up in this early game. Crimson throwing out some damage towards Saturdag in the wall. You see that one Veil starting to deal that damage. It is going to be a Soul Eater there, as we were talking about earlier, so we do see the double stacking item coming out of the Hounds mid. Though is Soul Eater really a traditional stacking item? I mean, you get it from assists, and it's also like enemy minions and stuff like that, so or yours when yours go down too, so it's kind of a weird stacking item, but still one nonetheless, I guess.
As far as I'm concerned, I want to see a Book of Thoth, a Hide of the Urchin, and a Doom Orb, and then we can really get this game started. I want to see...
Doom Orb is like fake stacks, though.
I mean, they're all...
They disappear.
Charon's Coin as well.
There you go.
I want to see all of the stacking items in one game. We're pretty much 60% of the way there in the way this game's going. We haven't seen Hide of the Urchin in quite some time, but maybe someone could make use of it in this game. We'll have to see how it continues. I just want to see a lot of little numbers down there in the build column.
That's the only way I play Baba Yaga. I go penta stacking.
Yeah, I mean...
And then now with Archmages changed up to where you hold on to the stacks like she'd have got. Dude, that'd actually be a lot of fun. So you go like Warlocks, you go Thoth, and then you get Charon's Coin, Hide of the Urchin, and a Gauntlet of Thieves late game. It's a lot of fun.
We'll have to tell Sops. Sops is really the only person running Baba right now.
All right, Sops, if you're listening, we need you to run the penta stacking Baba Yaga in whatever your next game may be.
All right. Well, now that the damage has been done. Or up Crimson, though, is going to find a fair bit of damage through the wall right now. A 2-level lead over the Warlock Sash stacking Tripno. But look at this. Now he's been picked up. Ooh. That's going to miss.
He needs some good damage there, though. About half HP on this Bologna. Crimson will walk up and deal some damage. Eagles Rally needed to get Snatty out. Quig won't be able to find enough CC and follow up after that, though, so Snatty will make it back to the safety of the Tier 1. And Dude Man Bro losing out on a 1v1 up against Hydrogen despite having the crit advantage on this Jing Wei. Hydrogen just getting the better end of the trade. Not even using the ultimate there. I thought maybe Hydrogen had found, you know, the use of that mod to find, you know, maybe catch Dude Man off guard with CC, but no, that's just raw damage output.
Yeah, you must have been missing a few autos there, but back and find the full Silver Branch, so it's possible Dude Man Bro was trying to finish that item as quickly as possible. Hydrogen caught him out and just said, like, hey, I'm going to keep auto-attacking you. Either way, the tower will go down, and that's really the win there for the Tanuki. Getting a little bit of gold to their name. Obviously, the Gold Fury is down. The Pyromancer is down. That's the only real objective you're going to be looking at right now is towers, because no one has the damage to pull FG just yet, at least not with a comfortable lead to... You know, anyone that showed up would stop that pretty easily. So right now, it's going to be more of a poke fight. Remakami will rotate over towards mid, but not get too aggressive here. Oath is also lurking, has the Indra Scepter, so a little bit of extra damage for the Susanoo. That Hydra's Lament, though, not quite finished, and that's your big power spike.
To the back line, Remakami will dash up against Tripno. Saturdragon gets caught out, has to use the edges. A pull in by Elion. Does not find much on the knock-up after because the ult from Remakami will keep him alive. That CC immunity coming in big, and Crimson will get to back as well. A lot of damage thrown into the mid lane. That'll get a tier 1 tower down. Meanwhile, Hydrogen still split pushing all the while on that left-hand side. And Crimson taking a 2v1 fight and winning this one. An early beads off the pull from Leon, but he gets stunned out by Tripno. One turnaround shot will do it. And the Primordial Onslaught out of the Tiamat will kill Crimson.
I mean, if this playstyle keeps up, or Up Crimson is going to double his deaths in the split in this one game, man. I mean, what he said, you said 4 in total.
Yeah.
He's already got half of his deaths the whole split in 14 minutes of this game. Oath, though, found out Leon, and that has a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough. Again, that Hydra's Lament. Once that finishes, you're going to see the Susanoo's damage really in flux, but right now, not quite enough. With the Brawlers, Beatsig, and the Jotuns route, though, plenty of damage to the Squishies, at least for right now. Looking at the build, though, Tripno has the Warlocks, has the Divine, and is going into a Breastplate of Valor, so really throwing some stock in the survivability of this Tiamat, wanting to make sure that the physical damage dealers, Dude Manbro, Up Crimson, and Oath, all are going to have a rough time trying to shred through Tripno's HP and protection, so that's going to be really obnoxious as later this game goes with how tanky this Tiamat actually is.
And look at the second item out of Elion as well. I mean, Wingblade picked up when you look across the board. Couple of different gods that can really proc that one, specifically Quig, who's been primarily targeting Leon. Oath pulled through the wall and right to his death. Tripno credited to the kill of a beautiful pull by Leon to catch out the jungler of the Eldritch Hounds. Yomi Tanuki, despite being down only a little bit in gold here, they're closing that lead back up. It's only a 1K up now for the Hounds. Meanwhile, Experience has hit itself back to dead even.
That was a massive pull here. Primal Fury is up, and now you're a man down. Elion, though, getting tossed around a bit by the CC. Probably doesn't want to frontline this fight anymore. The Snatty has found a Rough Crimson and has the Frostbound Hammer. The HP will be enough to get into the wall.
Wow, just barely for Crimson. It'll be a retreat here by the Eldritch Hounds mid laner. Oath still on respawn. The Yomi Tanuki will now pull the Primal Fury. The gold was taken earlier on, and now it's flipped the script. Remakami and Quig go in. Remakami with Descent to Madness. Snatty just going to jump over the pull from Quig instead. Remakami will fall back with his team as his health bar was getting shredded by Hydrogen. And now the Crimson's got a little bit more HP back. He'll sit inside the wall and start setting up for maybe the next potential fight.
Remakami will go back, but has the teleport available. Snatty also has the teleport and will upgrade it here. So if there will be a Primal Fury pull, like it looks like there will be, both of these soul laners will be back. Oath finds a huge pull and a lot of damage, but now they're not even going to go for this. Back to the Gold Fury.
It's going to be a Whirlpool from Hydrogen to get on out. He's sitting at a quarter HP. Satyr Dragon at half right now. Tripno, Snatty here at the front line, but Snatty gets picked up by Quig, thrown into the back line against the wall, but that's just going to let Snatty try and get this one away, and the Yomi Tanuki will steal the Primal Fury away from the Eldritch Hounds, and the Hounds are now on full retreat. Remakami at half HP will find his way back to the tower, but what a steal by the Tanuki to grab the objective amidst all of that.
Tripno stole that with like 130 damage of the Tiamat 1 there, so that's you can even body block that hit. So I thought it was going to be Snatty with the Scourge or something like that to try and interrupt, but now you lose the Primal Fury. That gold is finally in the Tanuki's favor, and Snatty stealing away your jungle as well. Pyromancer is back up here, so a lot of avenues for the Tanuki to take a little bit of that lead away, and now build it up for themselves. There will be a little bit of chase here. Oath, I don't believe, has the blink, so that chase has to stop pretty much immediately. You still have the XP, which is a little bit larger, 2K in favor of the Tanuki, but about 200 gold, not anything, really. I was going to say not massive, but no, it's not even big. It's just a pretty minuscule gold lead, at least in that regard. So back to the old farm game. Looking right now, you're a level behind if you are Susanoo to Satyr Dragon right now, so you want to try and get that online, but besides that, everyone looking about even.
Yeah. It's about a half level here and there for a couple of different roles with that 2K XP lead that the Tanuki had after taking that objective there. But nothing really to scoff at here as far as 18 minutes is concerned. Might as well consider this a dead even game between these two teams here. Pridwin finished by Leon on his last back to base, so he'll have a little bit of CDR into the build alongside with that Wingblade now sitting 30%. A lot of extra protections there, especially after using that ultimate. Will have that nice little health shield to himself. We see Hydrogen not finishing Odysseus bow. Went for a charge bow and now going towards...
That's that scream tech.
I was about to say, that's some screen tech. Normally that's reserved for your Kali's, not your Charybdis out here.
Well, you're trying to get that lightning proc. You get some attack speed. Up Crimson, though, taking a lot of damage. Will be able to escape here. Look like Elion was trying to find a blink onto the cleanup, but now with the poke down Kleena, you could be looking at an objective pull here. Snatty is trying to zone off all of the Eldritch Hounds, but will get knocked up by Fire Giant. That's really unfortunate. Now, no team is ready to pull this Pyromancer just yet.
Fire Giant, the real MVP of holding that fight back at the least. Maybe the ultimate villain compared for the Tanuki here. Pyromancer started, but not going to be pulled back fully. Instead, it'll be a leash by the Tanuki, and that can set up for the Hounds to now start up this objective here. Remakami zoning away with that Mire. Nobody's going to want to walk through that disgusting pull, except for maybe Elion, because he's got a little bit of a speed boost going through it. But the Eldritch Hounds will get the Pyromancer at the end of the day here. Still bump that gold back up slightly to their favor. But no real fight going through here. I mean, just that one ability by Remakami, and no real way for anybody to get past it here. It kind of does make a really nasty spot here for the Tanuki.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but there's not too much crazy burst on the map right now. I'd say the best objective confirm would be a lot of set clones into a skewer, or maybe just if you could really time her up Crimson and Oath ultimates, that's probably your best option, barring maybe a huge crit from Dude Man Bro. But at least right now, you don't have anything like a Kukulkan or a Raw Snipe that's really going to make it so you can have confirm onto these objectives. So wanting to bait in for a fight is going to be what you want to do. You want to make sure you're hitting this Fire Giant, say, hey guys, we're totally going to pull it, we swear, and then once they come in, you bait them into that 5v5. Right now, neither team has the lead. Neither team has that edge where they want to go for that just yet. Again, the Furies are down. The Pyromancers are down. We're sort of just farming and making sure that we're never too far away from that FG. If you are just if you notice there's too many people on the left side of the map, the FG could be pulled by either of them. The DPS is certainly there. It's just that burst potential that's not quite online.
Did you see Quig going back and getting a fully upgraded Ankh now, which I was wondering how much anti-heal that we were going to see, considering it's kind of really just the Sylvanas to make sure you have the lifesteal in the battle between this set and even Dude Man Bro over here. Dragon putting in some decent damage up there. But maybe between the lifesteal that the Hunters pick up here and some of the natural sustain in a couple of these kits, maybe the Ankh definitely warranted for some anti-heal. You do see Double Brawler's Beat Stick as well, picked up here by Oath and Erupt Crimson for those assassins. So they should be able to kind of stack those around in the midst of a fight pretty easily.
Yeah, Dragon putting a lot of respect on the crits, at least, from Dude Man Bro. Looking at the build, does go into that Spectral Armor as well as the Berserker Shield. Silver Branch is going to just be a solid pickup right now for set. When you're in that Kingslayer, you can't overcap, I should say, that attack speed. So if you are just getting as many set clones as possible, building that up, it's going to work out. But the percent penetration is just going to help you out a ton as well. But putting a little bit of respect on the ADC matchup. I think he recognizes I'm probably going to be diving the physical characters of this game more often than not, so wanting to get some defense on there besides the Berserker Shield, probably a good option. Now Leon, though, finds the blink in on a Crimson. I don't think they have the follow-up for this, though. The Aegis will go down.
Crimson, well, now Crimson will eat a lot of damage. I was about to say, he didn't eat very much there at all during the initial engagement. Maybe Remakami can start something back over to here. But it's interesting that you also do bring up, you know, the attack speed cap, quote-unquote, with Dragon, because yeah, with that Kingslayer, you're still technically capped at 2.5, but the calculation of it continues to go up. I remember like on release we saw Silver Branch and set, and you get like 30, 40 stacks on an item, no problem jumping with that ultimate here. So it's always a fun little interaction to see with that. Quig gets pulled in by Elion. Quig losing most of his HP as he's pulled in. Anagam is good, and Eagles rally by Snatty, and it's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade to start things out. Hydrogen using the Maw to get away, but he can't get away from the range that Remakami has on the Cthulhu. That's a 2-for-1 trade. Make it a 3-for-1 as Crimson finds another, and then Oath makes it 4, as only Dragon is left alive for the Yomi Tanuki after this bloodbath of a fight.
Yeah, it seemed like Dragon tried to use the Kingslayer to burn through the Cthulhu, but one item that he does not have at the moment is that Chin Size. So no matter how many auto attacks you get onto this Cthulhu, Witchblade and the Jade Emperor's Crown, as well as just how much protections this Cthulhu has at level 20, is going to be enough to pretty much shut that one down. And now Dragon has to recognize, hey, am I going to go for the steal? The option is definitely not. Going to farm that left side of the map instead. So if you are the Eldritch Hounds, take as much farm as you can on the right side of the map. Wait for Quig to spawn in before you kill that one. And now you get 5 Fire Giant buffs around your belt. I think that's going to bode pretty well right now if you are the Eldritch Hounds. You have a few starter items to upgrade as well if you have enough gold. Looks like Erupt Crimson ticked over 20. Dude Man Bro will finish that Diamond Arrow. That's going to help out just the base damage of your auto attacks. So a strong 80 as well as the gold is always going to help out. So we're going to see some large power spikes go the way of the Eldritch Hounds, as well as that Blood-Soaked Shroud that we always see these Cthulhus get that really make them transcend into unkillable this later stage of the game.
Yeah, and then this Witchblade has become a very popular item amongst these Cthulhus now, especially if they're going up against things like the Bologna here, and then you're looking across the way and you're also seeing Sada Dragon on an auto-attack-based god, and then Hydrogen on another auto-attack-based god. So I'm glad that we're finally seeing Witchblades on these Cthulhus, on these big gods like this, really starting to make its way back in. Because it felt like that item and this god just go hand in hand with how much Cthulhu wants to be in your back line.
Wait, Witchblade?
Witchblade.
Yeah, Witchblade.
Yeah, Witchblade.
I don't know which blade he's talking about, guys, but I do see that there is going to be the item built there. Remakami is going to be extremely tanky in the backline. As we're just waiting for this Tier 2 tower siege to begin, take a look at the right side of the map, though. Snatty and El Leon are trying to match Tier 2 tower pressure. I think they recognize right now a solid 6k gold lead. They don't really want to try and defend, but they are going to also recognize that we don't want to lose a Phoenix either. So we're going to stop those backs immediately and go back to defend that left side Phoenix just in case the Eldritch Hounds do try to go for that. They still have a few more towers to go through. There's 2 in right and still that 1 Tier 2 in the mid lane. Tiamat minions will make it just a little bit harder.
Yeah, they'll be able to push that one up. So no towers left on the left-hand side. A couple of towers still on the right side of the map for the Hounds to knock away that Tier 1. Still sitting very low on HP. Quig just off the mark with that pull up against Snatty. Would have been a nice pickup there to maybe get the beads or the ultimate off of Snatty just from being grabbed there. But the Hounds have both a couple of members looping around the back side of this Tier 2 tower. Quig and Oath going deep to try and get some zoning up against the Tanuki. A disarm by Snatty won't affect the right target because Dude Man Pro is still able to swing. Oath, meanwhile, in the back line, and an ultimate by Quig will push the remainder of the Tanuki out of the Tier 2 tower. That one will go down. The Hounds can add some more gold to their pocket.
Yeah, that Tier 1 tower, 2 or 3 autos from death, but still means you can't go for that Tier 2 just yet. You got to make sure you do them in order, so they have to go all the way back over to that Tier 1 tower. If Remakami got a little bit more pressure in that lane, this siege will be going a little bit quicker, but they have about a minute 25 left on the FG buff, and all 3 birds are standing tall, at least if you are the Tanuki. So your defense is going to be pretty strong here. Some nice power spikes in their own right with the Protector of the Jungle, Death's Embrace, and the Ornate Arrow, respectively, for the Tanuki. So they still have some avenues to fight back. It looks like they realize this Fire Giant buff runs out in 1 minute, so they're not actually going to go for those Phoenixes. Probably one more FG puff, but they stop their backs. They're going to look to get aggressive here. Leon gets caught out.
Oath gonna find some big damage to the Typhoon. Knocks up a couple different players, but big shell of Elion means that his team is gonna be good, except for Snatty, who gets caught in the middle of all 5 of the Eldritch Hounds. And what was gonna potentially be a back out of the Order side team, now with the pick on towards the solo laner, the Hounds can continue their push up this right side of the map. 35 seconds left on their Fire Giant, and with a minion wave now walking up, they should have enough time to put some big pressure up on this Phoenix. Remakami to the back line, finds the dash, and some damage up against the carries. Oath finds the pull onto Elion, and a pull in by Quig means it's doom for the support on the Tanuki. The frontliners are all gone on the Chaos side team, but the bird goes down on the right side of the map. The Eldritch Hounds looking at the Titan here, half HP, and an ultimate by Quig means that should be curtain calls here for the Yomi Tanuki in game number 1. Eldritch Hounds will take that one away, along with a couple of extra kills.
Yeah, making sure to clean that one up perfectly by the Eldritch Hounds. Just 1 pick was all they needed. They got down all the Tier 2 towers. They were ready to back up, and they said, hey, you guys are a little bit too far up. We still have a massive lead, and Fire Giant. We're going to get a few more picks, get that Phoenix, and now you can't defend your Titan. So just great play by them. And since we called out Crimson, he did not die. So ended on 4-2, only added 2 more deaths to his already low death count.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we're still talking about in week number 5 that he's only at 6 deaths at this point so far is still rather impressive here at the mid lane. Win by the Hounds means they're 1 step closer now to getting to themselves an undefeated record here in phase number 1. Can they keep it up? We'll find out right after this. are now 1 game away from an undefeated set record here in Phase 1 of the NASCC. The Yomi Tanuki need to be able to find a win here if they want to keep themselves out of the rock, paper, scissors match of a tiebreaker that we're going to have between them, potentially the Wardens and the Sages, depending on how all that one goes out here. But a strong performance out of the Hounds. A little bit of a slow roll, to say the very least out here. I mean, the Hounds did get first blood, and then the Tanuki were able to respond with a couple of kills of their own. Kind of keep things even for at least the first 10 or so minutes of the game. But then once it started getting down into these team fights, this double assassin damage output that was coming from Crimson and Oath just proved to be way too much for the Tanuki to handle.
Yeah, it was only like 7 kills going into that fire giant. Not too many on the map at the moment, but once the fighting ensued, that's really, about 22 minutes, only 7 kills in. That's really when you're going to see this game pick up. The late game team fight damage was just a bit too much. As you mentioned, the double assassins were just able to find what seemed like a pretty even fight, and then it just quickly turned into a 4-1 wash.
Yeah, I mean, you see Oath diving Tripno by themselves. You saw Crimson and Dude Man teaming up to kill the other two. I mean, this fight got so heavily split up. And when the first person who goes down on either side is, you have Quig, who was already basically no HP going into that fight right there. He's the first one down. And then Elion as well. So you trade out supports, who cares? But at this point already, Remikami has taken away Hydrogen, and the carries have all completely split themselves out here. And you don't want to take 1v1s up against Susano and Kleena. Those are not the gods I'm trying to take a 1v1 up against.
Yeah, and it seemed like Sada Dragon really just tried to keep Hydrogen alive, but again, without the chin size, you're not going to be able to shred through the Cthulhu's HP. It just didn't work out. Pretty much all of this settle went the way of the Cthulhu, so the carries were able to just free cast. I mean, you didn't have to worry about the settled. Snatty, unfortunately, just did everything he could to get 1 kill there, and then the numbers advantage was pretty much enough to make sure that the Hounds not only got that Gold Fury, but got everything after the fact as well.
Yeah, so 4-2-4 for Crimson. Only 2 deaths this game, so he hasn't doubled his entire season's death count just yet, but he adds a couple more at least to that column here, though. 6 and 5 weeks of play is still rather impressive here. Damage, at least for the top of the chart, does go to Tripno on this Tiamat, though Tripno was also the target of a lot of these fights. So able to pump out a lot of that back there. Oath at 18k himself. Right behind him, Remikami, very close in that damage output here. But, I mean, when you kind of compare that here, I mean, the damage across the board was fairly even amongst itself. It just came down to the actual team fighting, I mean, where, as I said, the Hounds were just able to break away and kind of separate Tanuki in every single one of these engagements.
Yeah, it just seemed like Remikami had some solid zoning, and then at that point, once you split the team and use your numbers advantage, the team fight went their way. I think the Tanuki are going to have to make some adjustments here in the draft. I think the Sylvanas, the polls were great. They were able to find those picks, but after the fact, from behind, Sylvanas has some struggles getting picked out there early on. Couldn't really help out as much as he probably wanted to once he got caught at that speed buff.
Yeah, we will see if some changes are made up here by the Tanuki. Picks and bans for game number 2. Now between the Hounds and the Tanuki ready to go. And we'll be the Tanuki in the first pick spot. So there's a lot up on the table here. The Kleena was left open last time around for the Hounds to grab that one very early on. No surprise at how strong that god is still here. Do you imagine, now that the Hounds are in that second pick slot, that they let that god go that way, though, Trelly?
I would think the Hounds have to ban away the Kleena. They had it already, and they know how annoying it can be to deal with. Right now, you're not first pick anymore, so probably banning that away would be a smart option. But there is a bit of a, we'll let you get this so we can get that sort of thing going here, where there's a few different picks that they also probably want to prioritize, like Cthulhu, for example. That's going to be one that's probably highly contested here, so we'll have to see what they go for. The Tanuki, though, they have the power, at least for right now, in that first pick spot. They can try and leave all that open and just see where this draft sort of shapes out, at least for right now. The Daji, though, is going to be banned away. We'll be seeing that a fair bit, a lot of pressure, and just a solid counter pick to other jungles that are also very good right now. Gilgamesh, for example, comes to mind.
Yeah, a lot of frontline ban here by the Tanuki. It will be the Ardeo, Yamoja, and Cthulhu going to be taken away here. That opens up the Kleena, Daji, and the Kabrakan on the opposite side, though, for the Hound. So they will not let either of those two major, top pick assassins right now in the current meta kind of go through over. And that allows very Jingwei first pick. And, I mean, what a shift up we've seen in the meta now from first pick options. We're going from the days of, Bologna, Amaterasu, when getting your Soul Laner was so prioritized earlier on this season, to your Thoths, your Agnis, your Zeuses for your mid lane being first. Now we're seeing Jingwei become that first pick. It's such a roller coaster that we're going through here in Season 9, Trelly.
And we're not seeing Medusa answer back. We're seeing a Janus and a Terra is going to be the answer back this time. But given who is piloting that Janus, I have no issues with it. Obviously, Europe Crimson loves the Janus pick, and usually 9 times out of 10 is going to find that success on the pick, and right now they're looking solid. The Terra, though, is a little bit interesting. I think they just want to counter some of that healing. We don't see the Terra too much, But right now, there's not much that's going to shut it down. The Athena taunt can be annoying for those dashes, but besides that, Terra has pretty free reign against the knockups of Tyr and Jingwei, so that's going to be a pretty solid matchup there. And then the Nemesis is going to be locked in, just going to be a little bit extra tank shred, as well as some just general annoyance with that shield.
Talk about a really annoying initiation, though, out of the Tanuki. I mean, the Athena, dash taunt, very easy. Or if you go for Blink, you can Blink taunt, save your dash. And then you have Tyr as well, Lawbringer, Blink into the back line, be able to pull people around with Fearless. So a lot of annoyances on the side of the Tanuki, but at least one strong answer out of that Terra there. This Giannis and this Nemesis could be in a little bit of trouble here, but as these bans start coming through, it will be Amaterasu, banned away by the Eldritch Hounds. In response, Thoth makes a ban there, which is so wild that we're seeing Thoth, who was once like, you got to get him first pick. He's now falling to the point where you can safely ban him second wave if nobody has picked anything up here. And then seeing that Odin ban, also a very smart one there. I mean, nobody on the side of the Hounds would be able to get out of that cage as of now.
Yeah, that'd be an annoying pick to try and deal with, and I think they recognize Snatty does have a solid Odin. If that isn't going to be in the jungle, you have a few different options for the tier pick. It's probably going to be in the solo, so they still have the Odin jungle option if they do want to go that route. The Tanuki going to have to think long and hard about this one. Obviously, Sad Dragon still has the Kali open. We've seen him go to that a few times. When the cards are stacked against you, you got one more game to make sure your spot's here. Could be an option if they do want to go for that, though. Bologna is just going to be the simple answer back because the Cthulhu was banned away, so that's just going to be a solid answer back. The Zeus, though, I can't believe the Zeus made it this way through as well. These are a lot of interesting picks. I think just the ADC meta being shaken up made it so picks like Zeus can get this far into the meta, and the Sobek is going to be the answer here. So,
okay, so
I have to imagine Athena jungle because the tier jungle just doesn't get that much value?
No faith in the Tungle.
It's just they beads, and then it's like, what happened to my tier jungle? I don't have a tier jungle anymore. I've got this.
You can say
guy.
the same about Athena, though. They just beads the taunt, and now what?
I mean, hopefully she has like Polly and is just chunking with those auto attacks. We'll have to see what they end up going for with the draft, but I have more faith in the Athena personally in the jungle.
Yeah, if we're just going off of recency out of here, we have definitely seen more of the Athena jungles than the tier jungle. Tier typically much more reserved over towards the solo lane. A couple of times we've seen him go support as well. I'm just going to throw that one out there.
That's true.
As a possibility. So with those three, you don't know quite where it's going to be. Medusa, though, haven't been seeing a lot of her ever since this new patch kind of came through. A big wave of new gods, you know, with the Chernobyls and the Jingweis starting to make their way in. Medusa's been seeing a lot less priority, but make it to a 10th pick here. Let's see what happens, though, for game number 2 between the Eldritch Hounds and the Yomi Tanuki Hounds. As I said, one game away from a perfect set record season. I don't think I can say win record as far as that's concerned after here. But it will be El Leon piloting the Sobek. Probably not much of a question mark. Snatty going on to the tier, so we will see the tier solo. Not gonna see the tier jungle like I was hoping, but at least they're going with stuff that has been working as of recent times.
Yeah, it's if Tyr can get his full combo off 100 to 0 someone, that's all well and good, but in like a 1v1 jungle matchup versus a Nemesis, one beads comes through, and then you're just like, man, what happened to my tier jungle? I don't have him anymore. His Fearless was his only cool addition to this fight. So I'm not going to say that it couldn't have worked, but this is the more likely way that things could have gone because Athena jungle, so much more pressure. The global presence can be super annoying, but Quig will get plucked back in here, but plucked into a Jingwei, meaning not too much follow-up there in that duo lane.
Yeah, maybe one of the more unfortunate ones to be tossed back to if that was like an Artemis or an On Her, something like that. You know, somebody who could get that follow-up. You know, I think of the classic Sobek Artemis, you know, pull him into a trap combo going way back in today, or like pull him into like a pillar impale combo could be fun, but unfortunately it is a Jingwei. The best you can do is maybe throw them into like the updraft immediately after for a little bit of extra annoyance there, but no death in the duo lane right now. Sada Dragon with this Athena going for Pen very early on. It's a tier 1 magic focus as that first option.
Yeah, we'll have to see what that item ends up being. Divine Ruin, there is a fair bit of healing on the map right now, but Zeus, Tripno can use it a lot better, I would say. Way more AoE for the Zeus, but also, if Athena's going to be your initiator, you probably want it on her as well. We'll have to see where those items end up going, just because Athena has a lot of damage in her kit. If you are able to get the full range of abilities off, obviously the shield wall into the taunt can make a big burst if you're able to get it off. So, again, just different itemization. We'll have to see how it ends up working out. As Oath spends a fair bit of his time in this solo lane trying to make sure that this tier gets behind, trying to put some pressure on the Snatty, because Blink is going to be the relic of choice. Doesn't have any beads available, so any sort of slow, anything like that is going to be sticking, at least in that lane. Now, the buff spawn will happen up here. We'll have to see where everyone's going. It looks like Dragon's on the left side of the map, where Oath is on the right side of the map.
Oath does blink in and get that slice, and I need a little bit more, and it will be the Scourge that gets the kill on the right-hand side. Meanwhile, Quig taking a lot of damage on the left side. The beads get burned away from Two-Man, but Hydrogen has the autos right after with that explosive bolts to pick up a return kill. So, the Yomi Tanuki, they get second blood during all of that one. Meanwhile, it's over to the opposite side. Remikami, first blood for the Hounds.
Yeah, smart play by Dragon getting pressure in dual lane. There is just more farm on the left side of the map, but how much of your own farm can you confirm right now? Oath is stealing away the back camps, taking away that blue buff. Speed buff not going to get invaded, a little bit too far. You don't want to overcommit too hard with this much mana, but still, it just depends on how much farm you can actually successfully deny on that left side of the map, and it looks like right now the Eldritch Hounds did get the better of that. Now, a lot of pressure is on Hydrogen right now. Got that first blood on this Jing Wei. What are you going to do with that gold? I always say it's best on the jungle because you can use it everywhere. Right now, though, if Hydrogen could find a 6 solo kill on a dude man, bro, that'd be using it pretty well.
We'll see. Quig walking back in. Just missed the stun there off of El Leon. Dude man, bro, lost his beads during that last fight, so not the best position for a Medusa right now, especially only level 4, and as well as a shell down from Quig during the final engagement prior in that duo lane. Snatty with a lot of pressure. I mean, even despite going down, still a lot of focus on at least him being able to stand at an enemy tier 1 tower and kind of put that fear in the room, kind of like, are you really going to back in front of me? That Lawbringer now up for the solo lane there. That could have maybe saved Snatty's life in that previous fight here. But with that first blood bounty and a little bit more, the Eldritch Hounds have a very early lead.
Yeah, Remikami did back for the full Berserker shield and then use the teleport to get back in the lane and start being a nuisance to Snatty once again. But Tyr doesn't really care about poke too much. The heal is pretty much going to be able to mitigate the full brunt of that. It really just depends what. Hold the thought. Tripno gets very low, but still a lot of damage.
Detonate. Won't take down. Oh, Dragon goes in, finds the taunt, gets the shield wall, but a beautiful portal out of Crimson will make sure that Oath can find a way out of there. Perfect timing by the mid laner of the Hounds. But meanwhile, Snatty maybe hoping that Oath would try and rotate over towards these back camps to get a little bit of farm. Instead, it's left Tripno out to dry. You're up Crimson. Teaming up with Quig will take down the enemy mid lane.
Yeah, I was going to say, you find the beads on the Zeus. Tripno's going to have to play pretty far back now, but didn't have to do that. Did get caught out by, I believe, yeah, Quig found the easy route, and then Up Crimson gets the last hit, so gonna have to play even safer now because Tripno lived through the first gank with beads, now the second gank without beads, and now 2 minutes again without beads, so could be seeing a lot more pressure on this Zeus in the mid lane. Tripno probably gonna have to stay a little bit far back. Did not opt to go for that Warlock Sash build this time around. Just a Divine Ruin, so just raw damage at least for right now. Usually when we see that Eye of the Jungle, we can expect to see a little bit more protections in those mid lane builds, though.
Dash in against Tripno. No ultimate up for the Zeus. Instead, just detonate, but a quick little shield there by Oath will instead make sure he doesn't lose out on a lot of health. Instead, return some of that fire right back at the Zeus. Tripno with no beads for another 90 seconds. Very susceptible to CC and ganks over here on the side of the Hounds. One portal out of Crimson, or one good stun out of Quig could spell the death of the mid laner.
Yeah, and especially because look at Erupt Crimson's level just right now in general. Level 8 at 5 or so minutes, about to be 6. So this is exactly what Crimson likes to do on a pick like Janus. Anyone playing Janus really should be doing is portaling to farm as quickly as possible, using those thresholds to get everyone there quickly, and just saying, hey, I'm 2 levels up on you, and I'm going to continuously be 2 levels up on you. What Janus lacks in damage, he makes up for in mobility. Make sure you're getting to that farm as quickly as possible, as we see the 3-man split on the Scorpion and those mid camps. So they're going to be sharing a lot over here in this mid lane. So the farm more so focused on the left side of the map, where it looks like Quig is trying to get aggressive on the Hydrogen, but Jing Wei, you know, going to be pretty safe sitting underneath that tower.
Yeah, going to be getting a lot of that extra gold there with that Gilded Arrow as well. Saw a couple of different minions tagged with that passive there. It's about a level and a half up for Erupt Crimson. He's procced over to level 9 after that last minion wave there. So Crimson has been getting a ton of farm across the board here. You can see Tripno is almost at that level 8, but will eat a stun by Quig. No further follow-up though. Crimson a little too far out of position to be able to get anything there. And also Dragon ulting in to make sure to save Tripno. That's a massive ultimate taken off now off the side of the Tanuki.
Yeah, 10% CDR with that. Spear of Deso for Sad Dragon, but getting aggressive onto Leon now has to go into that ult, and now the protects the shrub. That's a huge taunt.
Double taunt will find some good value there. Crimson still holding on to that ult, not going to fire it off. Instead, we'll use it against the mid lane. Allow Ramakami to join the fight, to go through the wall. Ramakami going to find some good damage with the bludgeon, but Snatty is out. Hydrogen is in the middle of 3. Will find a crash back out, but that unstable vortex will clip the Hunter. And the Hounds have put a lot of damage out, but they haven't been able to find those kills. Instead, it's return fire, and Ramakami does find the dash, but 2 people to chase him down. It's El Leon, credited with that charge prey to get the kill up on the solo laner.
Snatty still has the blink, and the chase is on her up. Crimson does not have those beads, so if the Fearless connects, that's probably going to be a pretty free kill, but you're chasing far into the jungle as well. Sad Dragon and Snatty are going to try to take away that red, but looks like they're going to get aggressive on the Sad Dragon. Now one more auto, but it's not going to be enough.
Sad Dragon will dash away, and they're going to give up the chase, at least on the Athena for now. Instead, it's Snatty, who's a viable target to maybe try and grab here. Crimson needs that portal to come back online. It's not going to be enough damage to the unstable vortex, so Oath will have to expend the dash to grab it. Beats burn off of Dude Man Bro from the pluck coming out of El Leon. But the Hounds are able to at least return fire after losing their red.
After all that, about a 2K gold lead for the Eldritch Hounds. I mean, it seemed like the Tanuki did a solid job of defending their buffs, invading buffs, and winning that fight. But 3-2 split for the Hounds at the moment, and now they're a little bit up, at least in the gold department. A level lead for Hydrogen. The rotation from Jingwei didn't last too long. Pretty much immediately went back to lane and said, hey guys, I will do a lot more than this Medusa late game, but right now, not going to be the case. Petrify, just a much better CC tool and teamfight ultimate tool than the Airstrike. So I'm going to go back to farming, probably the best option there. The Gold Fury still stands tall and still not even able to spawn the Pyro Monster in just yet. It's a little early on in this game, but those beads are down. So Crimson is going to be getting a little bit aggressed upon, but has the portal to get out.
Maybe thankful that some of those changes to diminishing returns came through there, so that taunt didn't last nearly as long as maybe Sad Dragon and El Leon were hoping there. So the mid laner makes it out. Crimson still doesn't have beads for 50 seconds. We'll find their way out. Also, maybe thankful that Sad Dragon might not be leveling the taunt as this Athena jungle. Athena supports. We sometimes see that taunt kind of be the first priority as a max out here, but it won't be. Instead, it is that shield wall. Get your primary damage, makes sense there. So not as many points for that extra duration on that CC.
Yeah, and it looks like a nice portal, but missed the unstable after the fact. Leon gets to hang on to a large chunk of his HP, at least for right now. Looking at the solo lane matchup, this is exactly what you would expect here. Just sort of fearlesses away, heals up, and then stays in that blue stance as much as possible. We'll get a cheeky pull onto Ramakami under the tower, but it's a below with Death Toll. Not going to care too much about this poke. We're not going to see too much action in that solo lane unless the jungles are going to show up. And look at this, El Leon and Sad Dragon are lurking on the right side of the map, maybe trying to find anyone stepping up right now. They don't have too much damage. I mean, Sad Dragon right now with the Spear of Death is doing a fair bit, but Sobek, it's just going to be base damage at the moment.
Ultimate in by Sada to the left side of the map. Maybe just a little too much threat from Quig and Dude Man standing up there. We'll get yet again another Athena ult away, but at least it's an ult to get some experience there. The purple buff does get dropped. Sada Dragon can grab that back left Harpy camp. But back to the solo lane, it's that 1 level difference between them. And Snatty kind of going back towards this old school tier style build that we saw a couple of seasons back. You build this movement speed after your first defense item. He's probably going to need a Wingblade. Might be a requirement when going up against just how nasty of the amount of slows that this team has on the Hounds.
Yeah, it's going to be very annoying to deal with because Tier already, hold that thought though, looking to get a bit aggressive onto Oath, but the blink probably going to get him out of harm's way. Here comes the ult though.
Quig will find some decent damage here with Sad Dragon. Half HP on the Athena. Oath will portal into his own death. Snatty was waiting on the opposite side and just fearlessed him into a wall and said, thank you for the free kill, Eldritch Hounds. Maybe El Leon can find something more. Holding on to that pluck for the right moment, misses it. Up against Ramakami, Tripno's expecting it throughout the ultimate now over towards the left side of the fight. Detonate will find the damage to take down Quig. And the Yomi Tanuki find 2 for none.
I don't know why Oath went through that portal, man. I thought it was like an accident at first, and I realized, no, he was trying to get the last hit. He wanted to chase down that kill, but even so, that just was never worth it there. Just camping that Janus portal is going to be enough to make sure the Nemesis gets absolutely no value. You lose 2, and the Pyromancer. Dude Man Bro did not make that rotation over, try to seal away the red buff, but now is out of mana. Some juke shoes, nope, not going to be enough.
Now, there's a blink, and then you follow up with the Athena ult there. Perfect turnaround by Snatty. Nice little juke initial there by Dude Man Bro, but maybe forgot that there was a blink available to that tier. So Dude Man will go down. 5-3 is the kills for the Yomi Tanuki, but the gold is still 1K up here for the Eldritch Hounds. They've not given up that early gold lead that they started this game with, and it might take a little bit extra here from the Tanuki before they can. That Gold Fury's still standing, and that could be an easy objective for the Tanuki to take. They've got a lot of burn with Tripno, with Hydrogen being able to get some big damage out here. And it seems that the Tanuki will finally move towards this objective, but there is vision on that by the Hounds. Only steal potential is going to be Crimson. He's got to throw out that ultimate soon. Through space and time. Will it find the steal? No. But it'll find some decent damage up against Sada Dragon at the least.
Yeah, at least a little poke across the map will do you well. There is just a fair bit of burn, as you mentioned. Tripno, just the chain lightning and the shield toss, as well as detonate, being just as good as a confirm, unless through space and time is coming from across the map. So as long as that's timed well, gonna be a pretty easy one. Now, though, no, still not. The Eldritch Hounds still are up in gold. I was gonna say that's gotta be the answer back. It's still not enough, though, because the farm game has been solid. They were able to answer back with that tier 1 tower. And you look over, and Remakami has a 2-level lead in solo. So that's also going to help out there.
That's so annoying.
Look at this. Snatty is just trying to clear the wave out, though. Blinks into the Fearless, and now the chase will ensue.
The ult will make sure to get Snatty out there. That is just so annoying to deal with. Not only do you have a Bologna beating against your head, it's just constant CC with this Frostbound. I mean, the slow plus the shield bash slow that comes out from there as well. Just so dumb to deal with, man.
Yeah, the Wingblade proc will be helping out, and now the Relic Dagger. So Snatty trying to get some movement speed online, trying to be as speedy as possible on this tier, because you don't have to worry about too much CC with the tier passive. You're not going to be getting locked down for too much. Slows, though, that will be a bit more annoying, as we just witnessed. So probably some smart itemization there for Snatty, making sure to proc that Wingblade anytime Bologna's anywhere near, and then you can zoom away if you're quick enough. Looking at the itemization, though, Tripno does just go for the double flat pen into what I can only assume is going to be an Obsidian Shard. That's going to help out pretty much damage against everyone. That's going to give you your squishy damage as well as the tank shred you really need. This Zeus is going to have to be a little bit more focused right now, just given the positioning, and looks like Shell is going to be the option, not putting so much respect on the burst from Erupt Crimson, more so the auto attacks from Dude Man Bro, Oath, and Remakami. So I think Erupt Crimson's going to have, you know, lots of bursts coming the way of the Zeus as this game continues.
Yeah, I want to see shield or regrowth from Snatty. Just not even because the item's good or anything. I just like the extra movement speed that you get from that heal. I had recently done like a really silly full movement speed tier kind of build. You get like War Flag and then Emerald Talisman and shield or regrowth plus like 3 of the Adventure Blade items. You just get a lot of movement speed. It's a lot of fun. You also have a ton of HP with that build, but won't be seeing that here. I don't know. I just like shield or regrowth. I love how situational the item can be and how fast it can make you go. Remakami needs a little bit of extra speed to get out of here. Through space and time from Crimson will clip Sada Dragon yet again. He's almost, it's almost reminiscent of Barracuda. Anytime there's a Giannis, you see Barracuda in the game, Barra's just sitting everywhere, keeping his eyes peeled. It's like, where's that Giannis ult coming from?
Even when he's looking out for it, Barra still finds a way to get hit, but the tier 2 tower is being aggressed upon here. There's a 4-man grouping as well from the Eldritch Hounds. They don't have the minions for this. This is going to be a vast overstay. I don't think they can really stick around too much, as it looks like they might try to chase this one down. Defender of Olympus, Sada Dragon, does have the blink as well, but it's a Janus, so it's going to be pretty easy to just run away here if the portal's in the... Oh, hold that thought.
Blink taunt by Sada finds 2. Quig is low. Tripno finds him. But Oath will find Sada Dragon in the midst of it. It's a 1-for-1, and maybe 2 now. Elion falls through the portal, has the shell to keep himself a little bit alive, but Tripno doesn't get the benefits of the shell. It's Dude Man Bro to put down the mid laner, a 2-for-1 trade, and Crimson will chase out, trying to make it 3, but 1 HP on Elion will keep him alive, and Snatty as the disruptor will make sure that his support finds a way out.
Yeah, it seemed like, oh, hold that thought again. Snatty's going to ult in, Lawbringers down, but maybe just to escape, not wanting to take too much damage. I thought maybe there was going to be some aggression there, but again, Snatty doesn't have too much damage, at least built right now, so not going to be able to 1v1 the Medusa, especially with Remakami around. Not going to be the best option, but saving your tier 2 tower, that's going to help out a ton. Hydrogen, though, was finding some farm on the right side of the map. And now we're seeing exactly what Elion's going to do with his second chance at life. 1 HP away. Erupt Crimson hits the Unstable Vortex, but doesn't have too much burst, doesn't have any like Soul Gem or Soul Reaver. Going into double flat pen on top of that Chronos Pendant is going to help you out a ton with your squishy damage, but Sobek isn't going to care too much about that.
Hydrogen said, oh, everybody's fighting on the left side of the map? Word, I'm going to go to the right side and get some farm over there instead. Needs to be able to keep up with Dude Man Bro here. Even in the builds across the board as far as the Hunters are concerned. Remikami eating some damage here from this Fire Giant. So is Snatty. The Pyro will be started up by the Hounds. Will it be continued? The answer is no. They'll leash that one away as Snatty continues his walk, his march forward here on this tier. Pyro pulled again. Oath will double dash away from Dragon. And Elion even walking up. This Pyromancer keeps going back and forth. It's got to be dropped by somebody soon. It's the Tanuki to steal that one away. Looks like Hydrogen and Elion were able to grab that through space and time, though. Used by Crimson, but won't find any value as far as the main chase through. Instead, it's all the damage back onto Dragon. He goes down to the old town of Dude Man Pro, and he'll be the first one down in this game. Snatty, though, finds a turnaround onto Dude Man, and Oath chases out two. Snatty very low. Remikami blinks in, but doesn't get the auto in time. It's a blink for blink. And look how many red health bars are on the side of the Tanuki as they're trying to find an escape path out of this fight.
Yeah, Oath has no way to chase as Hydrogen flies back in. The knockup is going to be good, but still has that shield if he wants to use it. It's not going to be enough. Quig, make sure to help peel out for the jungle right now. As we're looking, we're up Crimson. They're not going for that Primal Fury. They just want to steal away some red buffs. Those aren't going to be up either, so now you really don't get anything. I mean, you got a little bit of a lead there, but now Dragon's coming back up. Still a few more seconds on Dude Man Bro, and Hydrogen is getting very aggressive.
Yeah, Hydrogen is constantly dashing in up against anybody he has the opportunity to do so. Fearless off the mark by Snatty, so Remikami can juke that one out. Quig is still in the area. Primal Fury started here. Definitely better confirmation on the side of the Tanuki to grab that one. Primal Fury up and Primal Fury down. Yomi Tanuki get that one through space and time. Rips into the backline to get Crimson into the fight, but it's a double taunt by Dragon. Quig will find a way out, but Tripno will find a way to the grave. Dragon does find Crimson all the while into the fight, and it's a massive Eagles rally out of Remikami. That sets up Oath for the double kill. The Eldritch Hounds have found 3 for 1 in the trade. Snatty now with no blink and no ultimate will have to run from 3. No further chase, though. Out of the Eldritch Hounds, they'll give up the chase after they found their 3 picks.
Remember, there's no Pyromancer up here, so the only thing they could be looking to pull right now is that Fire Giant. Only 3 strong at the moment. Quig still coming back from base, and Snatty and Elion have pretty much full health bars here. They could be very annoying trying to burst this one down. We'll have to see if they go for the bait or if they just try to pull it.
Fire does get taken to about a third. Dude Man Bro pushed by Snatty, but Snatty now in the middle of 3. We'll find a double Fearless. That's perfect to keep him alive for a little bit longer, but he does get slowed down. Has to use the beads off the Petrify. Coming from Dude Man Bro, Oath dashes in, finds the slice and dice, the slow down Snatty, but it won't slow him down enough. Elion now with Dragon back in tow will mean that the Fire Giant has to be given up by the Eldritch Hounds.
You know, the Eldritch Hounds still after that Gold Fury, still have that gold lead, but Dude Man Bro, what are you doing? A little bit too long. Dragon will take a little bit of damage, but we'll be able to dash away. Hold that thought, though. It looks like an ult's coming in.
Through space and time again. Clips Dragon. Eagles rally in the back by Remikami, but it's off the mark. Dragon won't make it out, though. Quig does find the last bit of damage. Tripno stunned out, and Oath with a slice and dice will pick up another one. Eldritch Hounds with 11 kills up in this game have found 2 more picks. Again, only trading out 1 for them.
But still, no one's looking at this FG just yet. Or up Crimson with a massive ult right down Main Street, was able to hit 2 there and just go back to farming. I think this is exactly what Up Crimson wants to do on this Janus. Go to the red buff, go to the wave, hit level 20, and then late game you'll be able to pretty much just one-shot. Right now, not going to be your opportunity, though. Even with Tripno and Dragon down, I think they know with that Defender of Olympus, Athena can get back to this fight very quickly, and we're not shredding through this Fire Giant very quick just yet. Dude Man Bro only level 16. You really want your ADC a few more items before you're confidently pulling this FG for a quick burn.
Oath stopped on his back. Snatty, though, not enough damage to confirm the kill. Maybe if Dragon was there right away to help him out, it could have been a kill, but a little late on the Defender of Olympus for Sada to get in there and stop that one out. Remikami now looked at. Remikami will just go right back to clearing out those minion waves. His tower eating a lot of damage, but as we're past this 20-minute mark, these tier 1 towers, aside from maybe the mid lane tier 1, not really all that important anymore, and even the fact that Crimson still has a tower with as little health as it is standing with there might be not much of a safe place for them. Crimson gets picked up, and he gets put right back down. Tripno finds another kill, and in 2 games, Up Crimson has now doubled his death count for the entirety of Phase 1.
Yeah, had the beads and the Aegis, was just clearly not paying attention to the Sobek creeping around, but Tripno also is going to find, man, these mid laners, they are not safe no matter where they think they are at the moment. There's always going to be someone lurking, looking to get aggressive onto these squishy mages. Now, though, you've lost both your mid laners. What are you going to do with it? It seems like not too much. Dude Man Bro is going to split push that left side. His Oath is going to try to stop some backs here so they can guarantee get that damage. But he's not done. He's looking for the Phoenix, J-Mac.
Dude Man Bro still pushing up. Nobody, well, I say nobody, Dragon finally able to get that back there and go home. Now that Dude Man has spotted that one out, he'll make his rotation out. The 3v3 in mid will at least cease for a while. Snatty's still going to find some decent push damage up against Oath. But that should be the disengage now out of the Eldritch Hounds. They got a tier 2 tower out of all that, so that's 1,500 gold to help line out their pockets. That puts them to about a 2,500 gold lead here, 22.5 minutes in. The 5K experience, nearly 6K there. Still very relevant. Only one level 20 on the map, which is so wild to say, 22 minutes in at this point. Usually we're looking at your mid laners and your hunters at least having that, but so far it's only Oath who's hit level 20.
Yeah, it's been a lot of long, drawn-out fights. Hydrogen has been making these long con rotations over, so it makes sense that the carries aren't getting too much farm because they're trying to help out with these fights so much. 10 to 12, relatively even stat line. 1 or 2 kills where you're like, hey, maybe we should have had our ADC there, and you could lose the Fire Giant. So it makes sense that, you know, sacrificing a bit of farm just for presence of mind, at least for right now. Oath has not upgraded that starter item yet, neither has Remakami. They're 2 level 20s on the map, still have the option to do so. But Dragon is looking pretty solid in the build department, has that Breastplate of Valor for some CDR and some defense, but the Polynomicon is also going to help out a lot with those reaches, proccing those from a distance. Can help for some possible steal attempts or just regular DPS onto whoever you're taunting is going to be a solid build option there. But now, back to the old farm game. It seems no one is really posted around this Pyromancer. Oni Fury spawning in just about right that second. So now, the map is a bit split, but the ADC right now, Hydrogen, is on the Pyromancer.
He's here. Quig is walking up, but not sure Quig realizes there are 4 people around that wall. Oath is here with him to at least delay the Pyromancer. Meanwhile, Remakami and Dude Man will start up this Oni Fury on the opposite side of the map. They'll be able to grab that one with no contest. So again, another objective for objective trade out here. Oni Fury to the Hounds, Pyromancer to the Tanuki, Snatty to the back line to try and find Crimson. We'll make sure to at least force that portal out early. Dragon finds a taunt up against Quig, but Quig rather tanky on this Terra, will be able to find a pathway out. Snatty gets that Defender of Olympus ultimate on top of him. That leaves Hydrogen all alone in a lightning storm. Out of Tripno will not find any value. Everybody on the Hounds already out by that point, and Dragon gets caught out by himself. Crimson credited to the kill, and the Hounds find 1 out of all of that.
Love this play by Oath. Instant back into what I can only assume is an FG pull. You have Oni minions in left, mid, and right, and now you have the numbers advantage. Dragon can ult back in once the spawn comes in, but it looks like they're not going for Fire Giant. They're going for the Zeus.
And Tripno is the one under fire. The beads can only save his life for so long. Quig does go down, but Dude Man Bro around the wall with the Petrify, the Lacerate. That will find 2. Snatty will dash through 3, fall through the portal, and has to use the beads to get away from the slows out of Remakami. And he'll be able to use that Fearless and that Lawbringer to get enough distance to get away. The Eldritch Hounds still have a tier 2 in right before they can try and push up that Phoenix here. But what a massive swing yet again, a 3-for-1 trade for the Hounds.
Yeah, still no attempt at the FG just yet, but there's some Oni minions in left now that Phoenix could be in danger. Oath opting to just go for that mid-tier 2 tower as well. They don't need the Fire Giant buff to get this massive gold spike, but not going to stay around long enough. I think if you do lose Nem there, that's going to be a massive loss for your 5v5 at the next FG, or the current FG, because no one has went for it yet. Dragon will clear out these Oni minions, so not going to lose a cheeky Phoenix to some Oni minions just yet. But 26 minutes in, no one has really got the FG below about half health just yet. They've just been baiting in consistently, trying to look for these massive power spikes, and now we're starting to see them Protector of the Jungle, Death's Embrace, Compassion, Diamond Arrow, and even the Gem of Focus for Erupt Crimson. So all 5 starter items finish off that team fight, and now, looking at the left side of the map, none have been finished up for the Yomi Tanuki. So now, you're pretty much just looking at Hydrogen's damage saying, hey, you've got Deathbringer, we've got some Soul Reavers, we have some avenues to win this team fight, but it's not looking good. If the Eldritch Hounds play this effectively, they should be able to just bully them out and take this FG.
Snatty is going with the "you're not locking me down ever" kind of build here. I mean, between the Wing Blade he got, and then a Spirit Robe for some extra protection, some extra CCR, and now a Mantle of Discord to round out the build. He's got a lot of all prots, he's got a lot of HP to his name. He's got a lot of means of getting out of these fights, getting in and out, I should say. In fact, I think every single one of those items, if I'm not mistaken, has some kind of CDR to it. So definitely overcapping on the CDR department here. But with all the other stats that come with those items, no surprise that it would be pretty easy to go over that in one single stat point.
But Oath is in the left lane right now. Erupt Crimson is in the mid, and Fire Giant is being pulled. So it looks like they're really trying to split the opposition here and see what they can do. Sada Dragon has to go and stop the back, but Beads is going to be used, and Oath is going to take the Phoenix.
Oath probably willing to tank this one up, too. Yeah, he'll take a couple of shots there. That's a free Phoenix on the side of the Hounds. Maybe not free, because he had to use a bead. Stripno doesn't have any, and the Eagles rally sets up for a perfect snipe from downtown out of Erupt Crimson. That'll find one kill. Oath will find the 1v1 against Sada Dragon, and now Oath is pushing all the way up to the Titan, while the rest of the Tanuki are trying to find a path out. Crimson will chase down Hydrogen, and it's just Snatty and Elion left, and Elion might not even get a chance to get back to base. He does manage to find one path back out. But all of the Eldritch Hounds with the Phoenix down and minions pouring in, they can walk up to this Titan if they so choose. It's 4 versus 2. Mid lane Phoenix will go down very shortly. Quig rotating in to help out. A good push by Snatty and some good damage back against Erupt Crimson, but Snatty can only distract for so long. The Titan now aggroed by the Eldritch Hounds. It's down to 30% HP. The damage is there. The Eldritch Hounds will close out their season with one more kill on Leon, one more win in the pocket, and one more set to end with a 5-0 season.
What an interesting way to deal with global presence. They knew Sada Dragon could stop the split push and then ult back in, so Oath says, I'm not leaving. If you show up, I'm not just going to say, oh, I'm going to join the team now. I'm going to pre-bead your taunt, I'm going to take your Phoenix, and then I'll kill you after the fact. You can't ult away, can't go help at FG. We don't even need FG. We're going to take those Phoenixes and win the game.
It's going to be a big win here for the Eldritch Hounds. They maintain their undefeated set, their undefeated phase here for phase 1 of the SCC. We'll take it to a quick break, then we'll come back to get you set up for our next one. Eldritch Hounds in 2 were able to find a victory up against the Yomi Tanuki to maintain their perfect set streak here in Phase 1 of the NASCC. And they're going to be the only SCC team in both of those regions to maintain an undefeated record as they move in now towards the Masters. We already knew coming into this week, though, Trelly, Eldritch Hounds were going to be able to make that one through. And a lot of the question now is going to come to how can the Yomi Tanuki step up? And in this set specifically, how could El Leon also step up to help out his team here? It was there, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, these Eldritch Hounds players, they know how to control these team fights. They know just how to separate everybody amongst all of these.
Yeah. For me, Erupt Crimson on Janus, right? So whenever I think of Janus, I think of, all right, right away, this is either an instant loss or an instant win, depends on who's piloting it. If it's Erupt Crimson, I'm on board. I'm saying that's probably going to be a solid bet because he knows how to, as you just mentioned, split up the map. Of course, Oath was the one split pushing it right, but Crimson was also in mid. You can't just send someone back. You have to send multiple people, and then you have this global presence to match that Defender of Olympus, and then we get to see these team fights. So much damage coming out of this Nemesis. Knows how to use those Hydra's Lament procs extremely well, and now we're just seeing the full brunt of that damage.
Yeah, Oath deleting Tripno in that little clip there. We get to see a couple of snipes now out of Erupt Crimson, who mostly was hitting Satyr Dragon with these. Then there's that one last team fight just south of the Fire Giant that ends up going right through Tripno off of Purple Eagle's rally. We just see it right here, actually. And that is just perfect communication and coordination by those two players here to make sure they can get that little combo off. But Crimson at a 26,000 damage on this Giannis. Oath able to put up, I think it's like an 11-0 KDA in this game here. I mean, those are the two players that we came into the set talking very highly about and able to step it up here in Game 2 and bring their team a victory.
Yeah, Oath always looks so solid on the map right now. Knows how to farm effectively, but also knows how to find damage, find these ganks when you don't know how to overcommit, right? 8-1, a pretty solid stat line for a jungler that you would like to see. Yeah, making the use all over that, as well as 6 assists. So it wasn't just like finding those solo kills. Getting active wherever he could, as well as the fact of just making sure to get your team ahead. Even Erupt Crimson finding those portals early. I think Oath almost died early on, and then there's just that perfect portal placement to make sure to get him out. So got to highlight how you're using this Janus, not only as the portals for mobility for yourself, but you can also get your team in and out of trouble, which that's really the difference maker between those good Janus players and the great ones, the wins and the losses.
And Crimson at the end of Phase 1 comes out with a total of only 8 deaths amongst all of the sets that were played. I mean, yeah, he did double them, and that's unfortunate for him, is that he ended up doubling his death counter, at least in this set here. But across 5 weeks, 5 sets of play, and probably at least as many, well, definitely at least as many or more games that he was able to keep that one through. So impressive out here for the mid lane. Let's take a look, though, at the schedule, because we got one more set coming up for you guys. This is only our second set of 3 here to close out the NASCC. Sages found their win against the Weavers earlier, and now with a loss by the Tanuki here to the Hounds, this makes this next set very important for the Wardens. If the Wardens can find a win here against the Storm, then the Wardens should be able to guarantee themselves into that top 4, be able to make it into Masters. If the Wardens lose, we get this very awkward rock, paper, scissors match between the Wardens, the Sages, and the Tanuki. Because the Sages beat the Tanuki, but the Wardens had also beaten the Tanuki, or beaten the Sages, lost to the Tanuki.
And the Tanuki beat the Wardens.
Right, and then the Tanuki beat the Wardens. The Wardens beat the Sages beat the Tanuki. So it's this rock, paper, scissors battle that we have going on here that's going to come down to the plus or minus. That somebody else who has done a lot more math than I can will be able to better demonstrate that one. So at the end of next set, we will know who our top 4 in the NA is. And remember, that top 4 spot is to get into the Master Tournament that will be taking place in just a few weeks.
So if you are a Shabalba Store fam, just rest easy knowing that they've got their win-loss. Yeah, they have got their win-loss. They could really mess with people, though, depending on how they decide to play this next match. Of course, you just want to win, but, you know, as you just mentioned, it could be some interesting shenanigans given how this next match goes, so you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, definitely do not miss out on this third and final matchup here in the NASCC in week number 5. We're going to take it to a quick break, and then we're going to come back with this big set right after.